Pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we grant to this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Please honor our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Council Mercia.
Here.
Mayor Murphy.
Here.
Council Nguyen.
Here.
Council Elliott.
Here.
Council Kennedy.
Here.
Council Leahy.
Here.
Council Laurie. Council Martin.
Here.
Council Mendoza.
Here.
9 present.
Thank you. We have first under Mayor's business a citation for Lynn Brown Zunas regarding her new business, the New England Adult Day Healthcare Center. And this was in response to a motion by Councilor Mercia. So we have a citation for her to present today. Citation: be it hereby known to all that the City of Lowell in the City of Commonwealth of Massachusetts hereby welcomes New England Community Care Adult Day Health Center and its Chief Operating Officer, Lynn Brown Zunas, as a new business to make its home in the City of Lowell, Massachusetts. The 12,000 square foot facility at 81 Bridge Street serves 200 of the community's most precious resources, our senior citizens and others with serious medical care needs, as well as adds 20 jobs to the city. The center will surely thrive in the direction of Lynn Brown Zunas, who has dedicated her career to advocating for seniors and their families while working for Community Teamwork Incorporated as the director of Lowell Senior Center and now in the private sector. The entire city of Lowell extends its deepest wishes to Lynn and the center's employees for great success, given this 29th day of January 2013.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for allowing a new business, which was a while ago, and I know that you were gracious enough to present a citation at the time. Many of us did attend that grand opening, but in compliance with the motion created some time ago by former City Councilor Dan Tenza to recognize those businesses that made an impact in our city, I think this is a great idea to bring someone forward that transformed a dilapidated, vacant building and made it a vibrant place for life to have. When we look at different things that we need in our city, we all know that parents need daycare for their children, and on the other end of the spectrum, we do sometimes forget the fact, but it's very needed that children who now become parents have their own parents that need to be supervised in a daycare safe environment, and that is a senior daycare as well. And so there's a need for many things in the city. This is just one aspect of that. I'm honored to present and give 5 minutes of fame to a new business that started in the city, and that is Lynn Brown Zunas. So if she would like to come up and say a few words and promote her business. Thank you for staying in the City of Lowell and investing all your time and money to do this. So thank you, and I want to give you a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know I'm not shy when it comes to a microphone, any opportunity to have an audience. I enjoy speaking in public and thanking the city. It was a great effort by a lot of people and members of the administration. I mean, you don't purchase a 24,000 square foot mill building without help of inspectional services and other departments within the city. It was the first time I was sort of the clerk of the works of a big project and project manager, so I can appreciate the investment of time and energy it takes to make an investment in a mill building like the one we bought in the Napping building on 81 Bridge Street. But it's 24,000 square feet. The 12,000 square feet that I have established New England Adult Day Health Center is on the first floor, which makes it the largest adult day health center in the state of Massachusetts. So I'm very proud of that. We serve individuals age 18 with autism and Asperger's. We serve the 24-year-old sight-impaired, mental health issues, all the way up to a 90-year-old who has a case of dementia. So the center, being 24,000 square feet, services a lot of different people. We speak 5 languages in the center. We are designing a room for the Cambodian community to have their own private meditation room with some local Cambodian artists that are participating and making it home away from home for those Cambodian elders that are amongst us. So the place is so large that we can be very specific with our care needs and the population that we serve. So we'll be opening 6 days a week starting the month of March. Now we're open Monday through Friday. We have 15 employees now, but with a staffing ratio with Mass Health, we'll be up to 35 to 40 employees. So it's a medical model with nursing supervision. And I'm proud to say we're working in partnership with the Transitional Center in Lowell. A lot of our clients are masking their issues with alcohol and illegal drugs, and by coming to the program and getting them the help and medical support and the psychiatric support they need, we have been a major resolve in getting 3 people that were at the shelter housed and on medication and primary care with partnership with Lowell Community Health Center. So it's a true collaboration, and I'm proud to be from Lowell. I've been here all my life, and I'm glad we decided to build in Lowell and bring this great resource to Lowell. So thank you to the city, thank you to the city councilors, and I hope that you please all do stop by sometime. We have the best cook in the city. He studied at Johnson & Wales, he worked in Paris, he worked at the Stonehenge Inn and the Vespa Country Club. So full breakfast, full lunch, full afternoon snack. For no other reason, come for lunch someday and enjoy New England Adult Day Health Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Next, it lists presentation regarding the open meeting law. I filed this for this week's agenda because there seemed to be some confusion about what exactly could be discussed and what's on the agenda and what might be discussed that's not on the agenda. The city solicitor and myself, have a discussion with the Attorney General's office to get a better idea of what they're looking for in terms of the open meeting law, and from that developed a kind of test so that if items did arise that didn't seem to be on the agenda, that we could set up a standard test across the board so that councilors felt that it's being applied fairly. The first, whether or not there's a reason why it couldn't be timely filed by Friday at noontime as an actual agenda item, and the second, whether or not it can't wait till the next meeting to be timely filed. And if the answer to those questions, to either one of those questions is no, then we'd of course wait till the next meeting for somebody to file an item on the agenda. So that's the basic sense of it. But if we want to have some further discussion in subcommittee, I'd entertain a motion to refer that to the Rules Subcommittee.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
So moved by Councilor Kennedy, seconded by Councilor Laurie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. And we'll take that up then at the Rules Subcommittee. Next on the agenda is the City Clerk, minutes of the Public Safety Subcommittee, January 15th, Transportation Subcommittee, January 22nd, and the City Council, January 22nd for acceptance. Motion to approve by Councilor Mendonça, seconded by Councilor Laurie. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have the City Manager. Communications from City Manager, responses to City Council motions and requests, and informational materials. Any discussion under the communications? Councilor Laurie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a question on two that I brought up prior, and they were answered. I just would wonder if we could check the status. One I think is out of our hands. It was the monument on Woburn and England Street, the Veterans Park. That came back, it was approved. And I think we sent it to the, I guess it goes to...
It goes to the park department.
Okay, I was just wondering what the status of that one was. And only because I see employees retiring, I had put in a motion to have some type of event or a gathering for retirees.
Right.
And that had come back, and I was just wondering if we could get an update of status next week on those.
Sure.
I went by the park today, and I don't know if there was ever a stone put in. I know they were working on it or trying to find something to accommodate, and, but those are my questions, thanks.
Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week, Councilor Laurie made a motion regarding the parks and the skating, such as we have down at the Pawtucket Boulevard, and that's a great idea, and I want to commend you for that. And he wanted to know if we could have further ice skating rinks somewhere in the city, specifically downtown. And it was referred to the Parks Subcommittee, Parks and Recreation Subcommittee. And that's all well and good, but I think it's a little bit premature at this time. I would really rather see how that skate park that we have right now is being utilized. Is it generating interest? I can still hold a meeting, that's all well and good, but I like to get some statistics, some feedback as to some time that went by and see how that generates an interest. I don't want to say that I'm pushing it off. I certainly don't want to do that, but...
Mr. Manager.
Counselor, I think my understanding of that motion, which was referred by the council to me, was that, and based upon the discussion we had that night, is that's exactly what we're going to do over the course of this season,
Right.
Evaluate that and come in with a report to the council.
Yeah, that'd be
and then
fine.
perhaps have that meeting.
Okay, we'll have the meeting, but I need some information. I can't just blindly hold a meeting. Thank you.
Council Laurie.
And the other part of that meeting was to probably set up guidelines for the skating park that's already there. I'm getting calls, can it be open one night a week for adult skating and things like that? And so what type of rules we could also put,
Yes.
for things like that. That was the other part of the motion. The other part of the motion that you brought up, I had put in for a skating rink downtown. And I think that was the other part.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any, Councilor Kennedy.
Just as a point of information, what are the hours for the skating rink that's up on Pawtucket Boulevard right now? Can you go there anytime? I thought I saw something that said certain days 3 to 5, and I didn't understand why couldn't you go there at 8 a.m. if you wanted to?
All right, the Parks Department has put some hours out on that, and we are looking to, I do want to speak to Mr. Bellegarde about that. I think that there should be times when it should be just open all the time, basically. But we need to talk about that a little bit. At the same time, it's nice to have certain hours so that we can monitor its usage. But
Thank you. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you. With the original motion was to flood parks, is that right? To the maker of the motion, just to flood
Yeah.
parks in the city? So I was just curious where the 4,900 came from, because it wasn't in plan for this year's budget, was it?
it was contained within the Park Department. They had some money in their expenses to spend on that.
What would that have been used if it wasn't for this skating rink?
It's difficult to say. I mean, it could have been used on any number of other, could have done some improvements at a playground. It could have been used to, make some improvements to a ball field. Frankly, if we had used if we just flooded the fields, in all likelihood, the 4,900 or more would have been used to repair the ball fields after because of all that water that could damage the fields.
What happens to the field when Mother Nature floods them?
Generally, Mother Nature doesn't put gallons and gallons of water that you put in an ice rink, so
Well,
it wouldn't be,
okay,
quite the same. But I
Mr.
understand
Major,
what you're saying.
we're about planning, that's all. My point is, I want to know where the $5,000 came from, because this was after the fact, it wasn't in the budget, and it wasn't in the capital plan, so I wanted to just know where it was when the original motion was to flood the fields, which I still think is a good idea. So,
Yeah, if I
Thank
may.
you.
If I may, it wouldn't be put in the capital plan. The capital plan is, you borrow, that's for the borrowing of money, and typically the rule we use is over $25,000 and anything with over 5 years useful life. But
Any further discussion on the communications? Motion, Councilor Newman.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the manager on report on the regional night The 911 thing, I want you to continue to update us as it develop or progress on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to accept and place on file. So moved by
Second.
Council Mercia, seconded by Council Noon. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Council Mercia.
Mr. Mayor, before we go into the city manager's portion of the agenda, I would like to suspend the rules and allow my motion to come out of order, because we have quite a few veterans here, not that they're all going to speak, but I don't want to hold them all night long by the time we get to, if
Sure.
that's all right.
Motion to
Second it.
suspend the rules by Council Mercia, seconded by Council Noon. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Motion by Council Mercia, request the city manager, request the License Commission revisit and place on their agenda for discussion reducing annual license fees for alcoholic beverages for veterans clubs, members, and guests to equal the amount of restaurant license fees. Seconded by Councilor Mendonça. Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, I'd like to suspend the rules to allow people that may be registered to speak that probably didn't realize that you have to register. So if I could, I think there may be 2 people that might want to speak briefly on this.
Motion to suspend the rules by Council Mercia, seconded by Council Noon. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. With those wishing to speak in favor of the council motion.
And if I could just give briefly an idea as to what we're discussing here. Some time ago, when the manager was putting forth the name of an individual to be represented on the License Commission, I interjected that I would like some sort of information as to the outline of the fees that are established, and how do our veterans groups get any discount here? And when we got the report back, it did say the annual license fee for alcoholic beverages as established in 2007 by the License Commission lists that clubs, Chapter 80 organizations, there's 2 Chapter 80 organizations, the VFW on Plain Street and the American Legion on Westford Street. And then there are members and guests, and that is the Polish American Veterans, Dom Polski, different clubs that service our veterans. For example, the Centerville Social Club is a club, but it is home to the Franco-American War veterans, and they pay $500 more a year for their membership, for their license fee. And when you look at it, restaurants pay $500 less. The reason I bring this up is because, to me, and I did get an explanation, very wonderful, from Christine O'Connor and Ryan Wynn on the License Commission, and he said that club membership is the reason that the fee is a little bit higher, because they have a right to go and get membership where restaurants don't. But if you notice about things that happen today, club membership is dwindling at a large, alarming rate, and it doesn't hold any water to that belief anymore. Veterans groups, they can have, like at the PAV Club, Polish American Veterans Club, they can have bridal showers and baby showers, and so can restaurants. Restaurants can too. So I don't know how this is becoming fair. So I asked that through this motion, if we could just refer it to the city manager to allow the manager to have the License Commission put this matter on their agenda, not like they'll go in a back room and just discuss it and come back with a decision, but open it up to the public so that they can have their say as to what they think about this. I mean, these things shouldn't be made to the just the inclusion of the members. It should be open to the public that are dealing with this to see what impact, what input do they have. So having said that, this is what I'd like to do, and I'd like to open it up to, under suspension to Bob Page. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Robert Page. I'm Public Relations Officer for the Lowell Veterans Council. I reside at 26 Fremont Street in the beautiful city of Lowell. Mayor Murphy, City Manager Lynch, members of the council. I was made aware of this $500 premium paid by these veterans clubs approximately 2 months ago. There are 3 clubs in the city, veterans clubs, as the councilor just reminded you. They're the American Legion on Westford Street, they're the Veterans of Foreign Wars on Plain Street, and they're the Polish American Veterans at Coburn and Hildreth Streets. These clubs require membership. You have to have a card, you have to swipe the card in order to get in. It's not open to the public. These are not professional club or restaurant managers. They're just ordinary GIs trying to do the best they can to keep their clubs above water. Visit any of these clubs and you'll see they don't have to worry about exceeding the capacity. It just doesn't happen. We're not that busy. We're dying off. These are private, and we are a closed society. Membership requires that you have served in the military of the United States of America. I am sure if you ask Police Superintendent Kenneth LaValle, you'll be told police presence is seldom asked for and is seldom requested. We tend to police ourselves. If we have a member who gets out of order, he's no longer a member. While $500 may seem like a small amount to some, it is a lot to these small clubs. In closing, I would ask you to support this motion from Councilor Mercia, and I thank you all for your time in serving our city.
Anyone else wishing to speak on the motion?
Hi, my name's Paul Kozlowski. I'm a past commander of the Polish American Veterans Club in Lowell. I'd like you to thank you for the opportunity to speak. Me and my father have run the Polish American Veterans Club between the two of us for the last 26 years. I attended a state meeting in June. We had 28 posts 20 years ago. We're down to 12 posts along the state. And I listened to about 4 posts that were closing or had closed in the next month. You know, the point of these clubs are to do a lot for the community. We just gave $6,000 to Son Santa. Every time the police ask us for money, we give it to them, fire. And we've donated our hall over 38 times this year for benefits and funeral breakfasts. We'd like to continue doing these things, but we need some help. I did a breakdown of our members, and out of 144 members, 32 of them are over 60. I have 34 over 70 and 31 over 80 out of 144 members. We're struggling and we need some help, and I hope you can help us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on the motion?
I think that's all. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I bring this forward because some time ago, Paul asked me if I could look into this issue, and being around the holidays, it was kind of difficult, so I didn't want him to think that I put it off, but I think that we see what we have, and I'd just like you, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the manager, I can't tell the License Commission what to do, and maybe you can shed some weight over there and try to see if they could revisit this. So that's the gist of this. And so when you talk about membership, and they depend on membership, where restaurants don't have membership, no, but they have regular customers that, although they don't say we're members, we do frequent certain places quite a bit that you would almost think we were members. So the reasoning for this doesn't make any sense to make that higher. So thank you very much for allowing me to suspend the rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lowry and then the manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a great motion by Councilor Mercia trying to help the veterans clubs. And there's only 3 left in the city. And as you've heard from the members, the membership is dwindling. You know, their membership may be closed to veterans, but their generosity reaches out across the city. So I think anything that we can do to help the veterans with this would be well appreciated, and I would greatly support it.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Mercier, you may recall we talked about this last week too, and I think it's a great motion or a great idea, and obviously a very good motion to bring forward. It would apply to more than just the veterans groups. It would apply to any club license, but we don't have. But those themselves serve a very important purpose in the community as well, and I don't. I think it makes sense. Generally speaking, as I indicated last week, club licenses have a lower fee than restaurants. So if I may, what I would propose to the License Commission actually is that they look to set the club license fee at probably about 80% of the restaurant license.
Well, I appreciate it very much, Mr. Manager, because you heard Bob Page say Veterans Club, and he named like PAV.
Right.
But when you listen and hear the word Centerville Social Club, to me, it's the home of the Franco-American War veterans. It's not actually their club, but they more or less go there.
Right.
They have benefits there for the community. They're amazing, and so my heart goes to places like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted.
We do
Councilor Lowell.
have, if I could ask for suspension of the rules, we do have some people here tonight who are waiting to be appointed to boards. And if we could suspend the rules to bring them forward, so as to move them along in the meeting.
Motion to suspend the rules by Councilor Laurie, seconded by Councilor Mercier. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have a communication to appoint Jill C. O'Connell to the Animal Advisory Committee. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The appointment really speaks for itself. We have vacancies on the Animal Advisory Board, and I would appoint Jill O'Connell as a licensed kenneled member. We have a number of categories within the ordinance, and seeking to fill those, we have a requirement for a licensed kennel member to serve on that, and as you can see, Ms. O'Connell has that, as well as being the executive director of the Lowell Humane Society, the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and I think she'll be an excellent member of this committee.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy?
Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager, the licensed kennel, where is that located? Is that located in Lowell?
Jill, could you speak to that?
It's the Lowell Humane Society. It's, we talked about the language in it when we were at the Animal Advisory Committee meeting, and I don't know if the language actually needed to change from a licensed kennel owner to a representative of the Lowell Humane Society, so I'm not sure exactly what the language, so I mean, it's not, the kennel would be the Lowell Humane Society.
Correct. And Mr. Mayor, let me just, I just asked for a roll call on this. I have no objection to, I'm sure that this woman would do a great job. However, I would prefer that there be a Lowell resident. And I mean, we have a city of 100,000 people. It would seem to me that we'd be able to find Lowell residents to fill these positions. And so that's my only objection to this appointment, but I'll be voting against it because of that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Could we,
Excuse me, we need a motion now.
could we get
Councilor
a,
Blade.
Mr. Mayor, could we get a ruling from the solicitor? I mean,
Madam
a
Solicitor?
kennel owner is a kennel owner. You know, this woman doesn't own the kennel, or the Humane Society, I suppose.
I'm not aware that that's I think it's a representative of a kennel club or facility, as well as representatives from other types of clubs, all in the other clubs in that section also are in a non-ownership capacity.
So how many members on that committee are not from Lowell?
It's hard to say. It's a 7-member committee. I don't know the residents of the committee members individually in terms of where they, well, in terms of their residence, obviously. But the ordinance itself does not require that every member of the committee be a resident of the city. And we have other boards and commissions that mirror that as well. So, for example, the Historic Board is one that comes to mind, and there are certainly others beyond that. Particularly those committees and boards where there is a specific membership required or a particular profession required for the board. Also, you see it in instances where, excuse me, where a person is on the board as a result of a particular position that they hold, and that position doesn't necessarily require a residency, local residency.
Councilor Kennedy?
You all set? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't going to speak a second time, but I do think that, you know, I have pushed to fill these positions, and I've also advocated that there be diversity on these positions for the boards and commissions. There's quite a few vacancies. If you go to the city website, I think on this, the Animal Advisory Committee has 7 members, but I think there are only 4 people that are there, so there would be 3 vacancies at this time. My reading of the ordinance regarding the Animal Advisory Commission is that there would be 1 person from the city council who should be on there, a police officer, the animal control officer, and a couple of residents. I think it's open to interpretation whether or not everybody should live in Lowell. Certainly the language that's in the ordinance indicates that everybody is supposed to be a resident of Lowell. And so I think that's open to interpretation as to how you read that portion of the ordinance. At any rate, you know, I really would like for all of the boards and commissions to be filled, but I would like them to be filled with people who live in Lowell and not outside of Lowell. And I don't know that it's, I think what was in the packet was that this person worked for the Lowell Humane Society. I'm not sure that it was correct to present the person this evening as someone who owned a kennel when in fact they don't own a kennel, and their connection to the kennel is by virtue of the fact that they're the executive director of the Humane Society.
Mr. Manager?
I believe the letter that I've sent to the council indicates that while she is with the Lowell Humane Society, she would be appointed to the Animal Advisory Committee as a licensed kennel member. And I think that's it doesn't require to be an owner.
Okay. And so if you're on the Lowell Humane Society or you're even the executive director, you think that makes you a licensed kennel member? That's your interpretation? I mean, you know, you can have a different opinion than me, and it's...
The Lowell Humane Society does own and operate a kennel license in the city of Lowell, so we are commissioned a kennel license through the city of Lowell, so I think that is up for interpretation, however you want to see it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Mercia. Roll call, please.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
No.
Councilor Kennedy.
No.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Laurie.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Madonza.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Thank you. Councilor, are you offering your name for nomination to the committee?
No, Mr. Mayor, but I would suggest that you find someone amongst the other 7 who would be willing to take that appointment.
We'll have that lucky person for next week.
Should be a pet owner, I think, don't you?
Well,
I agree.
maybe Councilor Laurie, given last week's discussion.
Hey, I paid my dog dues this week. The dogs are registered.
Thank you. Next, we have communication appoint Bob Pio to the Lowell Housing Authority. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, this appointment, Ms. Pio is a currently employed by the Community Teamwork, but she has an extensive background in real estate and real estate development. I think she came to me with an interest in serving on the Housing Authority because of her interest in giving back to the community. And I think her record speaks for itself in terms of her knowledge and her commitment to the community. And it's an honor for me to put her forward as an appointee to the Lowell Housing Authority.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding this appointment, this is the second candidate to come forward for this position.
That's correct.
And I'm expecting to support this candidate this evening for the position. However, it's been brought to my attention that this candidate works for CTI. There is somebody who's also on the board that's not appointed by the city, that's the state appointment, who also works for CTI. And what's been brought to my attention is that this candidate is a direct report to the person that's already sitting on the board. Can you clarify that? And if that is the case, can you explain? I mean, I'm assuming that came up in the interview, and how did you come about to make this appointment, given that information?
Okay, yeah, that information is not accurate. She does work in the housing division at CTI, but she has a separate, there's a layer between her and the governor's appointment to the Lowell Housing Authority.
And you brought that up during the interview, and
That
that
is-
wasn't,
we've
you were
just-
satisfied with that?
Yes, I am.
Councilor Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Manager, how did you go about finding individuals? I mean, did we put an advertisement out? Did we solicit anybody? Did we put it on the website? How did you go about solicitation for this job?
There was considerable coverage in the newspaper, and my interest in searching for somebody was out there very clear. I don't recall if it was on the website or not. I'd have to go back and check that. We do not advertise in the newspaper. We don't want to, use money to do that. But we do circulate word and, speak to people, and people come forward. Particularly people when they see something in the newspaper that about an opening coming up.
Well, so you didn't, this is just word of mouth then. You didn't really do any public notice. The newspaper wrote a story, but I think there's always opportunity to put in, some notices somehow. I didn't see it on the website, but I think given the nature of the first candidate, that we should have done a thorough job in letting people know in the community if they're interested in doing this, rather than going to somebody who may know somebody. I think this board desperately needs change, and someone on it that'll provide oversight, someone will provide guidance and direction for the executive director. I see the current makeup of the board, and I think that we need an independent voice, someone not connected to the LHA or board members. So I do have some questions. Some were asked by Councilor Kennedy, but did you vet this choice to anybody? Did you, Mr. Wallace, did you talk to Mr. Wallace about this? I know you talked to him about the last one. So who did you vet this through?
I had an interview with the individual, and was very comfortable with
Nobody
her.
at the Housing Authority recommended this appointment to you? Okay. So I looked at I understand there is a level in between, but essentially this person does work for a board member. And we just went through a meeting prior to this about conflict of interest and the law and how an appearance of impropriety, even if there is one, you don't want to go there. You want to stay away from it. I know that from my ethics training. And I think there is some appearance, knowing that there's a board member and who works at CTI, and we have someone that's going to work, that works for her, and that is going to be serving on the same board. that's a valid concern. I'm not, I looked at the accomplishments, and I see that she works at CTI. She's also a real estate person, currently a real estate person, and I just think there'll be some conflict of interest. Did you think about that, Mr. Manager?
I didn't see a conflict.
I mean, CTI does have, Section 8 vouchers, and LHA deals with Section 8 vouchers. We know there are some issues with vouchers, so I have some concerns with that. Should the city be putting someone on a board who may have to worry about voting a different way based upon, daily work, a day-to-day job?
Well, I think her, if you look at her background and her position even at Community Teamwork, is as a housing consumer education. I think certainly one of the areas that most housing authorities are into now is trying to work with the tenants to provide them with consumer education so that they perhaps look for home ownership at some point in the future. So I think she has that good experience and background. She has a background in real estate and mortgages that I think would be very helpful in terms of financial, education for the members of the tenants of the housing authority. I also think she will be that independent voice and the change that we're looking for in the housing authority.
Let me put it to this.
Counselor, if you would like to vote no, I understand that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity on how I should vote. But, Mr. Manager, this is my point. Someone that may not directly work for you, say someone that works for Mr. Moses, we'll give a good for instance. Someone works for Mr. Moses, doesn't work directly for you, but is appointed on a board with you. Do you think that person's going to have some concerns on voting a particular way and be independent? I think so. That's my own point. So I'll put it in that perspective.
Okay.
That's the concern. It's a valid concern. We just go through this, we just sat through an hour about ethics and ethics training and conflict of interest, things of that nature. And I think it presents that type of scenario. I think the background, I think diversity is a very good thing. I support it. I think the background is good. But I think that board needs someone completely independent, compliant oversight, given the nature of what's happened at that housing authority and housing authorities in general across the state. Thank you.
Any further discussion on this appointment? Councilor Laurie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to acknowledge at this time, I'm on the board at CTI, and this individual is a employee. I don't have any contact with the employees, really. I sit on the board, and but I just want to make known public. I was going to vote present on this particular appointment only because I sit on the board. But in doing so, I think people who work for any organization should feel free to apply to be on boards or run for office. And so I think it's more on the board member, who would be myself, to come forward and at least announce publicly that I sit on that board, that an appointee, a possible appointee, is employed by. That's it.
Councilor Mercier, and then Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In keeping with compliance and the full disclosure rules, I want to make the public aware that this person is employed by CTI, and I serve on the CTI Board of Directors as well with Councilor Laurie, and you as well, Mr. Mayor. I do not know this person. I never met this person, but I inquired about this person. Seems to be a great fit for this particular the particular commission, the Lowell Housing Authority. With the resume that I see here, it's quite impressive. Speaks English very well, Khmer and Vietnamese. We talk about diversity. This is just what we're looking for. It troubles me that this person's in the same office as another person that's a member, but I don't really see it as a bad thing, and I think she'll do a great job there. tend to support, I know I'll support her. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy and then Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to be clear that my position is that the candidate that the city manager has brought forth is a qualified candidate in my view, and that my expectation is that the person would act in an independent manner. I think that when we vote on any of these positions for any board or commission, we should always make the assumption that the candidate is going to act in an independent manner. And so that's what I expect from this candidate. My questions were more around the vetting process that went into making this selection, and not the qualifications of the candidate.
Thank you. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mayor. I am happy to see the managers select a candidate with background that reflecting the board and commissions that she's going to be serving. Not only that, she's going to bring a diverse or a new idea and a diverse background to the board and commission, particularly the housing board. Of course, the board needs change, and the board needs change in terms of the diversity in that board, and she will fit in well, and I thanks the manager for making every effort to diversify board and commission with qualified person. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Laurie.
Just before I end, and I said I was on a CTI board, and to follow up on Councilor Mercia, I don't know this employee of CTI. I met her probably for the first time 10 minutes ago. I went over and introduced myself and told her I was on the board and maybe voting present. And then, I'm going to vote to confirm. And I also let her know that I would be bringing this quicker into the meeting so they could move on, but and not be here all night. But I just want to follow up that I didn't know this individual personally. Thank you.
Thank you. And as Councilor Mercia stated, I'm also on the board at CTI.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion. Motion to approve by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Martin. Roll call, please.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
No.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Laurie.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Madonza.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Oh, we could meet her. She's
Thank you.
here.
If you could just introduce yourself to the city council.
My name is Bo Papo. I just started with CTI in September, so I am very new to the community, and this is the first time that I really step out with the community and wanted to give back because I moved here since '91, and I have my own business, families, and all that stuff. Now that I'm ready to help the city of Lowell, and that's why I'm out here to help and volunteer to bring this city a better place, and especially with all different kind of different ethnic group and the diversity of the city, and I wanted to make it stronger. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to
Thank
the
you.
Lowell City Council. Next, we have communication, reappoint Mark Breer and Thel Czar to the Election Commission. Mr.
Move
Manager.
approval.
Move for approval by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Laurie. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Laurie.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Madonza.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. We also have a vote to transfer $146,000 to Veteran Services. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are a couple of issues here with regards to this transfer. This is an amount a portion of which will be used, $130,000 will be used for veteran services. This is money that is needed to pay for veterans' claims that are coming in. This is an issue that's happening across the Commonwealth. Of course, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is really the only place that does have this program for its veterans benefits program. It's unique among the other states, but we provide contributions, or we provide assistance, it's a better way of putting it, to veterans who meet certain criteria for housing costs, health-related costs, just general costs of living if they've fallen on difficult times. And with the difficult economic conditions that we've been facing in the country and in the Commonwealth, and with the number of returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan, communities are seeing the number of claims go up dramatically. So we're looking to transfer $130,000. I think we had to do a similar transfer last year, but again, it's tough to predict exactly where this is going to be at the time of the budget. And so we're taking $130,000 from the health insurance line, where we're running better than anticipated. We put that into veteran services. The other issue that we have, and I believe a memo that I've attached in here is given some sense of that we have, back in 2008, we had 96 claims that came in that year. This year, and we had 4 employees in the office back then. We had the 2 clerical individuals, the director, and an assistant director. And this year, Mr. LaMarche is our Veteran Services Director, is handling 166 claims. And that's just the claims that we're receiving. That's not the assistance that we're providing in terms of tying them in with the VA or other services that, if we're not able to provide them with actual direct assistance, or we're not in a position of providing them with direct assistance, we still provide counseling. And so you can see we've had a very large increase in claims. So because of that, we plan to fill a spot in the Veterans Office for the remainder of this year and into next year as well, with an additional clerical person to assist Mr. LaMarche in carrying out his duties. And again, those monies, that $16,000 this year, would come from the health insurance line because we are running ahead of budget there.
Thank you. I have the formal vote here. Motion to waive the full reading by Council Noon, seconded by Council Lowell. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. In City Council, vote to transfer funds due to increased costs for veteran services and to fund an additional clerical position through year end. What's the wish of the council?
Move to approve.
Move for approval by Council Lowell, seconded by Council Mendonça. Councilman Mendonça.
Just a question through the manager. The city usually gets reimbursed for the benefits we get, not all of it, but I think it's 75%. Will that be the case with these funds as well?
It will be. Every dime that goes out, we get 7.5 cents back. It takes a little time to do that. There's typically about a 18-month lag, year to 18-month lag, but we do get that money back. Okay. And they are working. We've been discussing as municipalities with the commissioner being able to expedite that so that we can actually get it in the same fiscal year, but there's logistics involved with that need to be worked out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Elliott.
Thank you. I completely support this, but Mr. Manager, I'm curious, why are you taking this out of the health insurance trust fund, and is the money going to go back?
It's not out of the trust fund. It's coming out of the health insurance budget line.
Okay.
We're no longer putting money into the trust fund.
Okay, so is it going to go back in there, or and why is the salary coming out of that line item? Staff salary.
The health insurance line is an expense line, but it doesn't have to stay as an expense line. It can be transferred into any budget line, whether it's...
Shouldn't you use your contingency fund? It was an unforeseen expenditure, an emergency nature?
I don't. There's no requirement that I use one line or another. We have a surplus in this line, and we felt that this was the appropriate place to take it from.
So is the money specifically for health, for the veterans' health costs associated with?
No, it's for veterans benefits of a variety of types.
Not specifically for health?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Counselor Nawan.
Yes.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counselor Leahy.
Yes.
Counselor Laurie.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Counselor Medonza.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. Returning to communications from the city manager, we have a presentation on double poles. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a representative here tonight from National Grid, and we also have one from a representative from Verizon. They are here to David Gendel from National Grid and Stephanie Lee from Verizon, and they are here to discuss double poles and the procedures they utilize to address this issue, and they're here to speak and answer any questions or take any comments that the councilors have. Perhaps start with Dave.
If it's okay with the council, we can both stand at the podium and answer any questions that you have. Again, my name is Dave Gendel. I'm a community and customer manager with National Grid. This is my associate at Verizon, Stephanie Lee, who is in their external affairs department. So we're happy to be here tonight and to be able to talk through the double pole report. I understand this is an ongoing issue in the city, and I can assure you that Henry Marchand is in contact with us every week, if not daily, on this. So we work with Henry on this quite a bit. I don't know if folks have got a copy of the actual double pole report. Do you have that in your package?
Yes.
Okay. Well, just to kind of give you a few of the highlights of how this works, before I get into the report, and I'm sure many of you already know this, but just as a point of clarification, utility poles are either solely owned by Verizon or solely owned by National Grid, but the majority of them are what we call joint-owned poles. We own them together. And the way we divide up which communities have custody of setting the poles, we split that. So there are some communities where Verizon has the set area, and there's some communities that we do. In Lowell, the electric company is the custodian. That we're the ones, if a pole, if it were to get hit tonight, a car were to hit it, knock it down, we would come out, we would set the pole. When that happens, when any pole is replaced, that pole gets entered into this database. And then what happens is that our wires, which are the more dangerous wires, are at the very top of the pole. When we set the pole, or Verizon set the pole, we transfer our wires first. And typically, we cut the pole down, take that piece of it away, and then each utility comes in, Comcast, the city fire alarm, in this case Verizon, and anybody else that might be attached to it. Verizon's the last one on the pole. They would transfer their wires, and depending if the pole is a side set, which means that we set the pole, we actually auger another hole and set the pole next to the existing one. In Lowell, we would come back and remove that pole. If it's a pole that you see fastened to the other pole, suspended, then Verizon, being the last one off the pole, they would be responsible to take the pole. So that's kind of how it works. And this report, although not perfect, is the best tool that we have to sort of track all this stuff. The last page gives a summation of how many double poles we have in the city, which, I need my glasses, I think it's 269. Now that may sound like a lot, but it's relatively small. If you think of a city the size of Lowell, we probably have 5,000 poles in this city. And that represents roughly 5% of the poles that are out there. And then as you go down the list, you'll see 34. That's the number of poles that we would have, the electric company would have would have this B, this bolded B would be in that column. That indicates that that's ball in court. So we have 34 poles in the city that we need to transfer our wires in order for the next utility to transfer their wires. And as you go down, Henry made us aware that the fire alarm, Steve Kodu's group, had transferred all the city fire alarms, so we updated the report to reflect that. And as you move down the list, Comcast has about 58 wires to transfer. Verizon has 89, and they're working on that number now. And then at the end, you'll see the number 72. Now, 72 is the number of poles that have been completely transferred. They're completely transferred over, And of that 72, 15 are national grids to remove, which we could get those poles out. You know, we should have them out now, but they're out there right now, so that's out. And then 72 would be with Verizon. So it's a very dynamic situation because as we do small conversions or we add poles here or there, as poles come out, poles get added. And in a city like Lowell, we're always probably doing something somewhere. And so that kind of gives you a sense of how the poll report reads. And at that, I think, Stephanie, unless you have something you'd like to add to it, we can just open it up. I'm sure the folks have got questions for us.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. The only thing I would like to add is that we have been working closely with Henry, providing regular updates. We've been able to, through working with Henry, get some extra resources put on this. We realized there was a bit of a backlog, in particular to Verizon, and we've been able to reduce that backlog from, in November, early November, it was, I think the October 29th was the first report I had sent over. We had about 177 polls that we were responsible for. Today, the report we gave you had about 89 on them, and I got an email from our foreman right as I was leaving that they continue to reduce on a daily basis, and we're now down to 79. And we are committed to continuing to bring that number down so that we can alleviate this backlog as exponentially as possible, because it is one of these situations that's dynamic, as there are upgrades or situations where poles are damaged in the city where new ones can be created. But once we get this backlog down, hopefully we won't be in a position where we have a large number any further.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So let me just be sure that I understand this. 269 polls up, but 72 of those polls, everybody's all done with them. So those can all come down.
Yes.
And the remaining polls, which would be, I don't want to have to do the math on it, but with the remaining polls would be,
195 or so, right in that area.
yeah, they can't come down until every utility company has taken care of what they need to do on those polls. And how is that done? Why does that take so long to do that?
Well, what happens first is before, the ones that I can address, the electric company ones.
Maybe, let me just, let's say there was a poll that was a Verizon poll. So Verizon goes up and they do whatever they need to do on the poll, and then they're all done. But the poll has to stay up because there are other utilities that still need to do the same thing.
That is correct.
What is that process? Does Verizon notify everybody else that they're done, or how does that work?
Well, again, in Lowell, it would be our set area, so we would set the pole. And then what we would do is we would transfer our wires first. Or sometimes there's a crew that sets the pole, but they don't do the transfer. Another crew comes out and does the transfer. If they're setting lots of poles, it happens that way. So when that happens, the pole gets set, a notation goes in here with the street and the pole number, and you'll see the B, the bolded B. That means the ball is in our court. So we have to send a crew out there to transfer our wires. Stephanie and the Verizon folks can't transfer their wires until we transfer ours first, or transfer our wires first. Because oftentimes, the way the pole is set, we need to transfer, then we need to cut the pole down so that, depending on whether it's on which side of the conductors it's on, it's one of those things, so they transfer it over to the new pole. And then, just from an electrical point of view, the electric wires are the more dangerous wires. They're at the very top of the pole. As we come down, the voltage gets less and less and less, and Verizon is at the bottom of the pole. So it's a coordination effort between the groups. And the way we communicate is this report. So Comcast has this, Verizon has this. The city, I don't know if has access now, but they did at one time, because they have fire alarm. The city has fire alarm, which is all transferred. So as people see this, they get this report, they know the ball, which ones are theirs to do. And when they do it, they clear it, and it goes to the next one.
How many crews would there be that would be doing this? I mean, I know that if someone hits a pole and the lights go out in my neighborhood or something, then, a whole bunch of trucks come and they take care of it, and that's all fine. But when nothing like that happens, just on maintaining these poles, how many crews are in Lowell weekly or daily? Or how, you know,
Well,
how does that go?
Stephanie can answer for Verizon, obviously, but for us, we have crews in town every day. But oftentimes, they don't prioritize this kind of work, to be honest with you.
Yes.
What we'll do is when they've got a whole glut of these things, we'll hire a contractor to come in and do that work, because it's just so much quicker to do it that way. So when the numbers start getting, we should be able to take care of the 38 or so that we have out there. But when they get up around that number, the most expedient way to deal with this is just bring a contractor in and they make the transfers. It moves much quicker. And so that's how we do it. We don't do it every day. It's when they bulk up some work, it's kind of the filler work that we do when we're not doing service work, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you outsource this to,
We do some ourselves and we outsource some, depending. If we have a large project, as we have in some of our communities, we're setting 300, 400 poles at a time to convert a whole area, then those kind of conversions will work closely with the phone company and the other utilities so that they're right behind us. Generally, the larger conversions, we've got that down pretty good where it works fairly well. Within a year, we're all off the poles. The poles that hang around for a long time are the onesies, twosies that go up, that we're always chasing. The bigger projects tend to go a little smoother.
okay. And the outside contractor that you use, I'm assuming that they're all year long and that they work in other communities and that there's only certain times when they come into Lowell, but that they might be in Drakeid or
That's right.
Methuen or Haverhill or someplace on other days, is that right?
That's correct.
So can you estimate how many days a week or a month that people just working on these double poles would be in the city right now?
How many days that we would do that? I mean, it would vary, to be honest with you, from month to month. Some months there would be nobody.
Yeah.
And some months there might be, we might be in here for 2 weeks at a time.
Okay.
So it's hard to kind of put a number to that, but, generally when the number starts to creep up, or I get calls from Henry Marchand all the time, if there's areas or there's particular poles that are bothersome to you, or things that you see that you say, geez, I really want you guys to address that, then let me know through Henry, and then Stephanie and I will put the resources on that, try to attack those. I mean, that's what this is like laundry. It never seems to end. We're always chasing these things, but if there's ones that are a problem, we like to go after those.
I think that's how we feel about it, is
Right.
it never
Yeah,
seems
no,
to
I understand.
end. Is it the same for your Verizon? Is it the same?
It's slightly different at Verizon, where we can only use our union represented employees to do this kind of work, so we cannot outsource it. So our technicians that do this work do a lot of other construction work as well throughout the Merrimack Valley. So it's sometimes, if it's a big construction season or there's some big projects going on, unfortunately, we don't have as much attention on double poles. However, currently, over the last couple of months, when things are brought to our attention or we start to notice something get out of hand, we will try to the best of our ability, put resources on it to try to get the situation back under control. To answer your question on how many crews we've put on this, since November, we've had 2 to 3 crews a week fairly consistently to try to bring this down, working on maybe, 15, 20 poles a week. Those 2 to 3 crews sometimes get pulled into some other projects, but pretty consistently we've had our trucks rolling to try to bring this inventory down, and we'll continue to do so.
Okay, thanks.
Council Leahy and then Council Martin.
Thank you. My questions were, Councilor Kennedy had asked a lot of questions, but, basically, they're not pretty sites to look at, especially on the main corridors. So, Bridge Street, for example, I've noticed that you pulled out a few up there. Some, to me, look dangerous. They tell me they're not. I've been noticing them for the last 10 months, and you probably pulled about 5 out of the 15 up there out. On the report, it says that there is, I think 5. There's actually 8 or 9, because I've been keeping an eye on them. But I noticed there's no dates. Do you have dates on your report? We don't have dates, so you don't know.
How old they are?
Yeah.
That question has come up before. That's an excellent point, because you'd like to be able to sort this on the ones that have been around the longest.
Yeah.
Again, if there's ones, you bring up an interesting point though, Counselor, is if there's polls that you know of that aren't on this list, if you could let Henry know, and Henry lets us know, then we want to make sure we get them added. That's always a concern. You know, if you know of a street, Henry mentioned it one to me earlier, where there's a street where you know that there are polls, but we don't have it. That happens sometimes. I mean, this is the best we have.
Sure.
We want to survey that street and add it, add it to this list. So we want to make it as accurate as we can, and then we'll go after those.
Okay. I mean, I just really started looking into this, and I can appreciate the work that's been done. I was on the website. I know that probably right now we're below the average in the Commonwealth. But there are some on here that, I don't know why people don't call. There's one on Fairview Street that's been there for maybe a couple of years, and it's a Verizon pole. And if this was in front of your house, it wouldn't be there, There's one on River Cliff or East Merrimack that's sitting on somebody's wall, so I don't know how that happens. The ones on Bridge Street, Andover Street, all the main thoroughways, we can't put up with that as a community. What other communities do, that's fine, but we're gonna shout here in Lowell and say, we want these cleaned up. And probably the main thoroughways first and then into the neighborhoods, but not to say that the neighborhoods aren't as important either. And it does look like, I guess Verizon, you guys maybe have issues with the workload and the union contracts, but, it's got to get done. So as a private business owner, I have to do what I have to do. And sometimes I don't like it, and sometimes I lose a day's pay, but obviously the utilities, they don't lose money. It's a nice thing to do. So anything you can do to expedite this would be appreciated. We don't want this to be a session where we're screaming and yelling at you. We appreciate that you're here. We really want this cleaned up. Other councils have started this before me. So appreciate it and everything you can do. And I guess that was about it, but thank you for coming and listening. If you can get these out as fast as you can. Do they normally, if a pole is broken, do you normally take it right out, or again, you go through the process of
If it gets
top to
broken,
bottom?
like struck by a motor vehicle accident,
Yeah.
it depends on the nature of the break. I mean, they're all different, and,
Sure.
that's left up to the on-site supervisor as to how much they want to transfer. Sometimes they'll get really aggressive and they'll transfer quite a bit of it at one time because they don't want to leave it the way it is. But, it's a site call.
All right, so maybe if we could add some dates to this, but, there really isn't any reason why any community should have to put up with this because, if we're in front of any one of our houses, it'd be cleaned up right away. Thank you.
Counselor Martin.
Thank you. If I could, I'd just like to ask a question about this report.
Yep.
And I think the very first two illustrate my question. So at least it appears to me that the first one says 18th Street. It looks like everybody's taken their action. It's either complete or there's nothing on the pole.
That's correct.
So that one's ready to come out.
You notice that the Verizon is bolded there?
Right.
Well, that means that it's Verizon's to take down. Well, the next one, that one's bolded, that's National Grid's, Mass Electric, they refer to it, but that's ours to take down.
And so if I add up all, and so when they're ready, they're in bold here?
That's correct. That is correct.
And that's how you get to the number
72.
72?
That's correct. So the 72, and of the 72, 15 are ours.
15?
15, right.
Okay. So that's something that should be able to be, I mean, when we hear about this problem, we hear about how hard it is to coordinate.
Yes.
Everybody getting their stuff off the pole, but at least 72 of these, there's really no impediment.
Right, and we've worked on that number with Henry, and that's down quite a bit from where it once was, and I know Verizon has taken down quite a few of them. But to your point, yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you.
Counselor Lowry and then Counselor Mendonça.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just looking at this list, in some of the smaller streets in the city, you know, I'm looking at Bancroft Street, they have 5. Keene Street is 4. Keene is probably 200 yards long. Gage Street is 3. Columbus Ave, 4. Charles Street, 3. Whiting Street, which is very small, they had 6, 3, 3. But I noticed a lot of the numbers of these poles run very close to each other.
Which poles are we looking at now?
Say Whiting Street. Down the Whiting. 316613, 316614. My question is on these small streets, some of these are so close, are these are there double poles because of the stress on the lines?
Are they double poles? No, I would bet that they converted that street at some point, or they did something where they came in and they changed out all the poles on the street. Usually they do that to gain the pole height, because other utilities, they need space on the pole, and, you know, we're going back to the old days by going to taller poles. But I really don't know. I'd have to look at that street. You're saying it's Whiting, right? Do I see Whiting on here?
Whiting Street's about, I don't know, 100 yards long. There's only houses on one side.
Right here.
West Fifth Street
Yep.
is 3. 17th Street is 3. Columbus Ave is 4. I was wondering if a lot of these had to do with stress on the poles and the wires. But if you're saying no,
Well, I'd have to look at it, to be honest with you, but I don't know those streets firsthand.
now we're talking about wires. If you go up Andover Street, I don't know if you're familiar with Andover Street in Lowell.
No.
It's 133. If you get up around probably the 300 numbers just past the lights, you have about 5 or 6 poles that look like they're going to come down. The lines are all tied up, and it's over by Heritage Street in that area, but these poles are really leaning down. What do you do for that?
Yeah, that's generally what they do when they transfer the pole, as the utilities transfer their wires, you know, there's a piece of it that often is bolted back. They put sometimes a piece of cross arm or a piece of strapping in there, and they bolt that back. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't look good. I'm the first to admit that.
Well, it's
but,
like this.
Yeah, you know, you have that. It's not going anywhere. They've been doing this for years, but it's unsightly. And then what happens is that when the wires probably need to either be pieced out or a jack strap put on there and pulled up tight to the pole. So for whatever reason, when the other utility before, and it might have been us, when we transferred our wires, they get to that point, and the next utility needs to come in and do their thing, you know, to transfer their wires, and they might need a special way to do that we don't do. So they leave the pole at that angle with a brace on there, and it often creates a lot of the heartache with double.
These aren't double poles, these are single poles that are leaning.
Single poles.
Yeah.
These are single poles.
And would they constitute a danger to anyone up there? I mean, they're like this.
I'd have to look
Straight,
at
and
it.
there's about 5 or 6 of them in a row, and they're actually just leaning over.
And what street is that?
Andover Street, 133.
Andover Street. I can't answer. These are single. These are not double poles.
Nope.
Andover Street, poles leaning. We'll have someone take a look at it, and I'll get back
Yeah,
to
just
you.
out of curiosity, and I didn't know if it was due to stress, but I was more concerned
I didn't
about
understand.
a public danger. It's, not Butler Street, I think it's Heritage Drive, somewhere between Nesmith Street and, say, Heritage Drive.
Yep, no, we'll take a look at that, and I'll get
I
back
think
to
they're the
him.
300 numbers, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Donta.
Yes. Since I raised my hand, my question's actually been answered, but it's about the date. I mean, and that's what's important to most people. I think we all understand it can't be corrected immediately. It's going to take some time. But I think once it gets past 90 days, that people get concerned just how long it's going to be, especially if it's out there for a year or more. So I would agree that having a date
Yeah.
to track it in, so that if it ages past a certain point, it should become a priority. Even under normal circumstances, there might be other priorities. And I think we all understand that if we had a bad storm and you'd have to prioritize getting power restored, phone lines restored first, but that doesn't continue for 90 days or more. And that's what we're concerned about. I do appreciate that when we started following this process, what is now 269 was 400, over 400. So I do see some progress made since last year in removing some of these double poles. What's difficult to see without dates is that we don't know how many accidents or how many failed poles that have been recently that added to that number, and we could give you more time on those. You know, it's not the same 269 poles that are left as when you started. You probably removed some and added some to the list. So you, in actuality, have done more than 100 and some poles.
That's right.
So I would like to see that you prioritize and track by date as well. Initially, you have your own priorities, but once they age past a certain point, then that pole should become priority. Although I agree that the main road should be taken care of first as well, but if someone's on a small street and has a double pole in front of their house for half a year, they're probably going to be upset, and that's what we hear about. And I certainly like to see things like that addressed. And now, I'm not sure, but I believe the state law requires that they be removed in 90 days.
Transfer it. Each utility is to transfer within that period of time.
So you're saying that
And then
each...
it goes 90 for the next one, 90 for the next one.
So each utility is given 90 days?
That's correct.
Well, even still, you can see on these polls, some of them only have 3 utilities, so I hope that it could be done sooner than that. 90 days total is a lot of time that I think people who have this pole in front of the house would want to see it removed by then. I'm sure they'll give you 90 days, but beyond that is where they start to get concerned as to what the holdup is. So if you would take that into consideration, it'd certainly remove a lot of frustration on our part.
I just so Councilor were clear, I mean, I like the idea of the date. I've actually been to meetings before where this issue has come up. I make the recommendation to the folks who keep this database. It's a little bit above my pay grade in terms of making the change in here, but it is a great idea, and I think it would help us as well. So I will make the suggestion again, and I know there's a lot of emphasis on this in our company right now, and not only in Lowell, but in other communities that, you know, we've got a backlog of work to do. So, and there's a need to come in there and tighten up this whole thing. So the timing may be good to add that column in, you know, but if I come here again and it's not done, it wasn't because I didn't try. It just, you know, it's one of those things.
Just understand that if we continue to be frustrated by this, we're going to push for legislation that'll require you to do this and penalize you if you don't. So I'd rather this be taken care of in a friendly manner rather than have to go through the legislative process.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Noon?
Thank you, Mayor. I thank you both for being here tonight, to hear frustration and to answer some of our questions. And even after tonight, we're going to still have frustration because it doesn't seem to be going fast enough. You have now 269 double pole. You indicated that 72 of them ready to come down. According to the statement made by you, Ms. Lee, indicated that you've been taking down 15 to 20 per week. Is that correct?
With the exception around the holidays, we were short-staffed.
All right, so you have, Verizon have 57 double pole that ready to take down. So I assume that you probably needed 4 weeks to take that down. Is that correct? So in 4 weeks, that will be done. Those 57 out of the 72 double pole that are ready to take down.
So what we will do is continue to focus on the removal of poles in the city of Lowell. Assuming that we can keep up at the rate that we have been since November, then that would be true. There can be things that can come up, weather-related, resources that get pulled away, but I will continue to keep the focus on a weekly basis on our construction team, and we'll do our best to do that as quickly as possible.
As for you, Mr. Jindal, the National Grid have 15 pole that is ready to take down, and how long would it take you or National Grid to take that down?
I don't know if I could give you a specific answer, but we should be able to get that within the month of February.
So within a month, and maybe the same with the Verizons, that the 72 double pole that are ready to take down will come down, and then we will have left roughly 100, roughly close to 200 that need to be make it ready to take down. Is that my understanding? Again, I share every one of my council frustration because, you know, you want to try to be customer friendly to the customers and to the citizens, and particularly of Lowell. And this has been, if this is sitting in front of my house, I go crazy. Unfortunately, it's not. But still, though, I go crazy because it's sitting down in front of the citizen of Lowell's house. And a few is too much already, let alone 269 double poles. So I appreciate it that you are coming here, and appreciate you will try to do that. I also like to ask you through that you share with us maybe on a bi-monthly basis of this type of report certainly is helpful. And if you can, I understand why maybe the people above you don't want to put a date, because that would pinpoint you to, you know, for us to say, hey, this date is 180 days behind. So I probably, that's probably the reason, maybe other reason, maybe I'm wrong, that to have date there will be easier for this council to say, you know what, this is 3 months past due, or 4 months past due. So I would urge you to urge the people there to put a date, because otherwise, and you're not doing enough, again, we will certainly advocate for legislations to have this, some penalty being attached to this requirement of remove it by 90 days. I want to thank, again, both of you to be here, and Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on double poles? Entertain then a motion to accept this report of progress by Councilor Lowry, seconded by Councilman Donso. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Next, we have a presentation, Key to the City, Basement to Belfry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is as many of you know, and I know that Councilor Mercier loves these episodes. This is a video that we've, sort of a trailer, if you will, a coming preview of another show that we're putting on Lowell Telecommunications that talks about, in this case, the Lowell City Hall, to give some understanding to the residents of the city what goes on in this magnificent building. Go.
Lowell's original City Hall was located at 222 Merrimack Street in what is now Enterprise Bank's headquarters. By the late 1800s, the city was booming and needed a larger facility, one that would reflect its standing as the center of the Industrial Revolution. City leaders established a City Hall Commission in 1888 to oversee development of a new City Hall. A design competition was held that resulted in 23 entries and 3 finalists. The third prize winner, the Lowell architectural firm of Merrill and Cutler, eventually received the commission. This project spanned the terms of 3 mayors, Charles D. Palmer, George W. Fifield, and John J. Pickman. And here is where the City Council meets every Tuesday evening. This room was originally the Board of Aldermen's chamber when Lowell had a bicameral form of government. What's now the Development Service area was then the Common Council chamber and is a mirror image of this room. The Board of Aldermen had 6 members, the Common Council 24. Today, the City Council has 9 members, including the mayor. This room is also used for meetings of the Lowell School Committee, as well as Lowell's various boards and commissions. The stained glass used here and throughout the building was created by Phipps, Slocum and Company of Boston. The original chandelier can be lowered for bulb replacement and repaired by a hand winch in the attic. John A. Lowell, nephew of Francis Cabot Lowell, dominates this room with his larger-than-life portrait. Smaller photographs of all our mayor's portraits are displayed below the balcony and back wall.
We urge everyone to watch this episode, and we'll make sure all the councilors get a copy of it.
Should call
Thank
it
you,
Bats in
Mr.
the Belfry.
We can hardly wait. Entertain a motion to accept as a report of progress, I suppose, by Councilor Mercia, and seconded by Councilman Donser. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. On the motion, Councilor Leahy.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to the manager for that. I noticed that all the light bulbs have been changed up there to energy efficient ones.
That's correct.
And I have asked you in the past, maybe we could put a motion on to have this room revamped over the summer, so we'll put that together. But that was very exciting. Thank you for the video.
While you're revamping the room, can we strengthen the chandelier?
Thank you.
Councilor Martin might.
Next we have a vote to apply, accept expended grant of $2.5 million for lead-based paint hazard control. Motion to waive the full reading by Councilman Donser, seconded by Councilor Martin. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Reading by title. In City Council vote. Authorizing the city manager acting through the the Department of Planning and Development to apply for, accept, and expend funds in the amount of $2.5 million from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the funding under the lead-based paint hazard control grant program. Move to approve by Councilor Laurie, seconded by Councilor Kennedy. Councilman Donser.
Yes, the description says apply for. Are we assured of getting this grant because of requirements, or we might not?
We are not assured. In fact, we were very successful with this program for a number of years, and the last round of funding, we did not receive it as they sought to move the money around to other portions of the state. But we're going back in because there's still a need here in the city, and we'd like to get at that.
All right, so there's still a chance we might not get it again, but we're going to apply and try.
Absolutely, right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion to accept by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Laurie. Roll call, please.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Laurie.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Mendoza.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. Next, we have a communication from City Manager, request approval of out-of-state travel for the Lowell Police Department. It's the wish of the council.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Mendoza. Roll call, please.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Laurie.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Mendoza.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. Next, we have a vote license agreement for G&AA LLC for Fuse Bistro. Motion to waive the full reading by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Laurie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. In City Council vote, authorizing city manager to enter into a license agreement with G&AA LLC, Fuse Bistro, with local office at 45 Palmer Street, Lowell, Massachusetts 01852, for the use of City of Lowell property, to wit, property adjacent to premises at 45 Palmer Street, Lowell, for placement of temporary tent for use during Winterfest, February 8th and 9th, 2013.
Move approval.
Move for approval by Councilor Kennedy, seconded by Councilor Leahy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Laurie.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mendonça.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. Next, we have an ordinance. Motion to waive the full reading by Counsel Martin, seconded by Counsel Lori. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Reading by title. In City Council ordinance, an ordinance amending the code of the City of Lowell, Massachusetts with respect to Chapter 290 thereof entitled zoning by extending existing NB zoning district to include 14 and 16 3rd Street in Lowell. Entertain a motion to refer to the planning board for a report and recommendation, and also to a public hearing for March 5th, 2013 at 7
So
p.m.
moved, Mr. Mayor.
So moved by Counsel Kennedy, seconded by Counsel Leahy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Next, we have reports, subcommittee reports. Are there any announcements? None? We have motions. Motion by Counsel Martin, request the city manager meet with Technology and Utilities Subcommittee regarding the renewal of the Comcast contract, seconded by Counsel Mendonça. Counsel Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This, my understanding, Mr. Manager, is our contract with Comcast expires sometime toward the end of this year. And, as chairman of the Technology Subcommittee, I serve on the LTC board. The board is interested in, number one, where we stand, because the Comcast contract is a good source of their funding, but also in perhaps negotiating some things that would need to be in the Comcast contract. So the request is to have a meeting with the subcommittee and just, see where we are, what the schedule is for negotiations, and whether some of the concepts might be incorporated into the negotiation.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Next motion by Counsel Martin. Counsel Leahy.
Sorry, I missed that. I just had a quick question. When that goes to subcommittee, I don't know if it goes through the manager or the chair, but does that include, do you discuss pricing and all that stuff too, or does it get in depth?
Mr. Manager.
The pricing is not something that is included within the municipality's power to control. That's something that they handle with the state government in terms of their pricing. That's not included within the contract.
So what basically goes on with this discussion when it goes to subcommittee?
Counsel Martin.
Well, enhancements to the service. For example, one of the things I know that LTC is interested in is the ability to do, I don't want to say commercials, but public service announcements like we just saw tonight. Tune in Tuesday night to see, such and such an episode, and have the ability to do that, perhaps seek sponsorships. And so that's one concept that's, but that would need to be negotiated in the city's contract with Comcast in order for LTC to have the right to do that on its own channels. That's one item.
Generally, with the negotiations that take place, and there is a public process to this as well that we still need to go through. These are, but where we get input from residents of the city and LTC or whoever else might be interested in this. But some of the things that are generally included within the negotiations are, levels of capital contributions that come out of the cable contract that go to the city for telecommunications related costs, our share of funds that would come to the city over a period of time for municipal programming. You can look for, a few years back, it was very popular for communities to get fiber optic cable connecting municipal buildings. That was a big one that many went to. But we don't control programming. We don't control rates. We don't. It's somewhat limited what we can include in that. The other part of it that's notable is that ultimately the cable companies, once they have a contract within a community, generally are able to maintain that service. It's very difficult to. It's near impossible to say, okay, we're not going to give you a new contract. Ultimately, they can bring it up to a higher level and have it put in place. So it's a It's a good process to go through, and usually there's something can be worked out, but, you know, I don't want people to think that we have the ability to control pricing, programming, or in fact, you know, reject a contract and say we're going to replace you. Once they're in, it's pretty much they would stay in.
All right, I guess just the one main concern would be if there's any way at least to voice our concern about, you know, people have probably told all of us that, you know, prices of everything are going up, and where cable's going up, they keep offering you more and more channels, but you can't watch 400,000 channels in,
right,
you know, month even. So, you know, that's a concern that the prices keep going up. We don't need more channels, we just need a discount. Thank you.
Council Laurie, and then Council Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not that it's part of really this utility, satellite dishes. We don't have any conversations with them. And the reason why I'll bring it up, I used to have a satellite dish. And when people leave the satellite company, they just leave the dish. And you look at Lowell, there's nothing but satellite dishes all over the city. And I don't know if we have a conversation with them. Not at all.
No, we don't. It's satellite dishes are similar to television antennas that people put on their roofs. And
They're just allowed to leave them?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I just, you know, we talk about negotiating a contract, but it's really not that. And the manager's right. You know, in order to put a company out, it's an extensive public hearing process. There are findings you'd have to prove that you just couldn't prove. So I tell people it's kind of akin to negotiating a contract with your cell phone company. You know, you can't go in and say, oh, I'm not going to agree to this, I'm not going to agree to that. I mean, it's the things we have control and negotiate are limited, but there are some, and it could lead to some slight improvements in the service, and so that's what we're trying to get at here.
Thank you. Next motion by Council Martin, request the city manager consider contracting services to other municipalities for appropriate departments. Seconded by Council Mendonça. Council Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a suggestion, I guess, for you know, revenue enhancement perhaps, or just being entrepreneurial. And I'll share this with you, Mr. Manager. There's a City of Melrose just received some award kind of leveraging their data center and providing services to other municipalities. So it's something we've done. I would liken it to what we did at the wastewater plant, where we had capacity to take sludge from other private haulers. The concept here is where we have certain infrastructure in place, and other cities are looking to replicate that, or towns, that it might be something we could offer for a fee, where you know, they'd save money not having to do it all on their own, and we'd get revenue. I know we did this when I was mayor in the school department, things like certain special education services where maybe we had a half dozen students in the city that needed a certain service. Instead of paying tuition for an out-of-city program, we'd hire our own teacher and then bring in, say 6, bring in 12 students, and then charge tuition to other communities. So it's a way, I think, it's worth exploring. I don't know, you know, for appropriate departments, it might be something. I was on some websites around the community, not a community touching Lowell, but one not far there, you know, that was pretty rudimentary. And, you know, not that ours is perfect and doesn't need work, but I think there are some capacities we have here that might be beneficial to other places and be a way for us to generate some revenue, not on the backs of the taxpayer.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
No, just the comment I would make, I think, you know, the concept of regionalization, whether it be in sharing services or selling services, is one that that I've always been in favor of, and would certainly support continuing to look for that. I do meet with the other managers from the area on a somewhat regular basis, and by that I mean just this region. We meet probably, in fact, I think we have a meeting coming up next week to talk about regional opportunities, the you know, regional dispatch. We've looked at animal control. We've looked at in doing some joint purchasing, things of that sort. The ideas that Councilor, you raised are really going beyond that, sort of to selling our services to others, and that's certainly one that, you know, we've looked at. We do it somewhat with water, selling water off to other communities, but there's certainly a number of other areas, and I'd be happy to explore that in more detail.
Thank you. Councilor Laurie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a great motion. I happened to see someone from one of the towns over the weekend, and basically they were talking about animal control and things like that some of the towns can't afford to do on their own, that Lowell, and, you know, he talked directly to Councilor Martin's motion. So maybe that is something we could look at down the line, and I commend Councilor Martin for bringing it forward at this time.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Leahy?
Thank you. I just wanted to echo that I think this is a good motion. Councilor Martin's correct. I think when Superintendent Bear was here and Councilor Martin was mayor, we combined some services with special education. We were able to save about $1 million. So this is definitely worth exploring, and thank you for bringing it up.
Councilor Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Whatever happened to there was discussion about putting, or collectively, communities developing a recycling center or a bulk item collection center. Has anything materialized?
I haven't gotten an update on that. We were meeting with DEP on that. I think there was a site that we were looking at in one of the neighboring communities, and that may have fallen through. But I'll check on that and see where that stands.
So is the old landfill, knowing some of that site is going to be used for a solar farm, is that not a suitable location for something like that?
It wouldn't, I think there's a couple of problems with the landfill site. One is because of its, I don't think it's quite big enough. Some of the terrain that's out there, that you'd need a level area. I don't think that would be big enough. But the bigger problem is the cap. Being able to locate the solar is something that we're putting out there. We're actually sort of laying it down in a way that it doesn't interfere with the cap. Running trucks over that with recyclables and bringing other materials out there would be something that, in all likelihood, DEP would not approve.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next motion by Councilor Leahy. Request the city manager provide following information in preparation for the joint meeting February 6th of the City Council Municipal Facilities Subcommittee and the Lowell School Department School Committee on Facilities. 1, work order system status. 2, report on any updates to science labs in the past 10 years. Seconded by Councilor Laurie. Councilor Leahy.
Thank you. Just so we're prepared for next week's meeting, or when we have the meeting, I just want to make sure that we have information that is going to be asked if we have people there, and the reports and information that we need, because certainly we'll have a lot to discuss, especially like this week we got some more calls about the heating at the high school and the library, so more the high school, but we want to know what's going on as far as where repairs are and how much money we've been putting into these heating repairs. And with the science labs coming up, we just voted for some improvements out at the Greater Lowell Voc. So I'd like to get improvements done to our own science labs at the high school, which we've been piecing together over the years. This would be a great project to get done, especially where we have the accreditation coming up in the next few years. Thank you.
Councilor Laurie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for point of information, last spring we took a tour of some of the schools. Councilor Kennedy and school committee in Leary have the joint subcommittee, and we went through several schools, and I think we spent over $1 million on repairs in the schools. And just as a point of interest, when we get that report next week, could we get a copy of the schools we worked on? Not point by point, but just how much, and just to get an idea of what schools we did do and what we may need to do down the line.
Mr. Manager?
Certainly, we'll pull together as much information as we can in terms of what the schools that we worked on, the project. We'll get a status on a number of those projects, either funded through the regular operating budget or the capital budget. We'll get a status on the work order system. I'll have to work with the school department to see about the updates to the science labs, because I don't think we have any information here on that, but I'll check on that. And we'll try to get that, they're being Tuesday night, that only gives us a couple days to try to pull that together, but we'll pull together as much as we can to get out ahead of time, but certainly have it for that meeting, as much as we can for that meeting.
Council Leahy?
Sure. Would Councilor Kennedy know when that subcommittee is again? Is that in a couple of weeks, or was that?
It's on February 6th. It's
February 6th.
First Wednesday in February is when the meeting is scheduled for.
So that's next week then? Okay, thank you.
Council Lowry?
I just wanted to add, that was probably one of the most informative meetings I think I've ever attended since I've been on the council. We toured the schools, saw what really needed to be done, how much money had to be spent. Hopefully, I don't know if there's any, we could do it again this year, but I thought that was probably one of the best few hours I've spent so far in the council, was touring the schools and the investment it needed.
Any further discussion on this motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Next motion by Council Lowry. Request the city manager have proper department explore the possibility of placing streetlights at Christian and First Streets and at Rogers and Knapp Ave.
Second.
Seconded by Council Kennedy. Council Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. These came from a couple of requests, one in Centerville. When you come off the boulevard and you go up First Street, there's probably, I think I counted 6 poles without a light. And when you get up around Christian Street and Bradley, it is completely dead dark up there. And people having a hard time driving. I think it'd be tough for people if there was any pedestrians walking. And I think another great reason why we should have more lighting up there is I think we had some illegal dumping going on up there over the years. So any time we can get more lighting, especially in that area. Rogers and Knapp Ave, that's at Shed Park on Rogers Street. And I guess there's no lights, and I'm hearing at least some people say when they come to turn on at night, if there's people walking along the park, you just don't see them. So it's kind of a safety issue in both areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Last motion by Council Lowry. Request the city manager have proper department use the latest data regarding motor vehicle accidents in the city and request the proper authority reduce the motor vehicle insurance costs to the citizens of the city.
Second.
Seconded by Council Kennedy. Council Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This came out of last week's subcommittee meeting on transportation. We had a meeting on the 10 worst intersections in the city, and we've invested a lot of money for improvements in these intersections. The Lowell police are out on the street every day, and they're monitoring the traffic. They're looking for violators. And the question came up, I asked, how many accidents are we down since, say, last year? And it was well over 400. Now, between the investments we're putting into the intersections and the infrastructure, the investments the police are putting into traffic control and public safety, we're down over 400 accidents. And I know whoever monitors the insurance in the state goes by accidents. If we keep reducing the number of accidents in the city, it only makes sense to me that we should look into getting the insurance cost for the people of the city lowered. And I don't know who we would do that through or who we would ask to monitor that. But we're doing a heck of a lot of work in the city, and it's starting to show in the traffic reports. And if we could get something back for the people of the city to lower their cost.
Thank you. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What we have here in the city is territorial discrimination. Because we live in Lowell, it's a big city, and people come in from all over and they get in an accident here. Not saying it's Lowellians' fault, but even if it isn't, it happened in Lowell, so we're getting penalized. So I could be garaging my car in a safe area. I'm still going to pay a lot of money for it. to have insurance in the city of Lowell. I think it's very unfair, but we did talk to State Representative Kevin Murphy some time ago about this very same thing many years ago, and nothing really is happening about it. And I think it's a shame because statistics say that accidents are down, and yet we're still getting penalized for it.
Council Laurie?
Yeah, and I agree. We are penalized. We have the bridges in the city, 5 or 6 bridges. We've got the main intersections. So people coming off the highways are traveling through Lowell to go to the towns and up into New Hampshire. And as Councilor Mercy says, if they have an accident, we get, regardless where they live, we get it counted against us. But be that as it may, there's over 400 less accidents in the city. And I think this city's at least working to correct the problem. And just see if we could use that data and move on.
Any further discussion on this motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. Entertained motion to adjourn. So moved by Council Kennedy, seconded by Council Leahy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, we stand adjourned.